Hashem Hashem Na'aseh V'Nasiach. Baruch Hashem, here we are. We're already supposed to start the newsman last week, but because of the situation in Israel, as we all know, things did not start to pick up until this week. And that's one of the things we wanted to talk about. Hopefully, Siyata D'Shmaya, the things that we could learn about what happened and what where we go from here. And B'ezrat Hashem, we'll start the Shiur by saying the famous statement said in the Torah by none other than Bilam, the Rasha prophet of the Gentiles, who said the famous words, Oy mi chye mishemo el. Baruch Rosenblum, this is translated means, who? Oy means like oy vavoy. Who will live at a time? Mishemo el. Mishemo el, Baruch Rosenblum explains about the people that have the El, Aleph and Lamed, the Shem of Hashem, in the end of their names. That's Israel and Ishmael. Mishemo El. Who is going to live between these two? The final battle. The final battle is going to happen at the end of days. What's going on today? Where are we going to be in this battle? Who's fighting the battle? Obviously, God is fighting the battle. But He also wants us to do the battle downstairs. Let's look at what happened over here a little bit. Everybody knows that God has millions of reasons of why things happened the way it did. A lot of questions. But at the end of the day, we're all in the hands of Hashem. And He knows what He's doing. And we have to pick up ourselves and see what we could do in order to better the situation so that everything will be with mercy. What happened 2 weeks ago on Shabbat, Simchat Torah, the happiest day and the holiest day, where we're dancing around the Torah, when Hashem came and gave us this blow, we have to understand why it happened then and why did Hashem didn't do it in a different day. So B'ezrat Hashem, we have to go back to Ishmael to see this Pereh Adam, this wild beast that was created. He was created by Hashem. It's the work of His hands. And it's like a stick in the hands of Hashem when we're not doing our will in order to give us over the head so that we do teshuvah, so He'll bring out the final redemption. Meaning it's all for our own good. Now we know that why is Ishmael has the word El in the end of the name. We know that the story when Ishmael was born, Hagar was thrown out of the house because of the disrespect that she was giving to her foremother Sarah. So she went out and cried. And Hashem said, Kishama Hashem et onyecha. Whatever you went through, Hashem listen to your whatever you had to go through, and He's going to pay you with this beast, Ishmael. Now, if anybody else, any mother who was given the prophet or malach, an angel, came to him and says, you're going to have a son, he's going to be Adolf Hitler, they probably say, I don't want it. Just like Abraham Avinu. When Hashem said that I'm going to give you children, Abraham, it says in the Midrash, said to Hashem, if he's not going to be a tzaddik, I don't want him. But this person, Hagar, when she was told that she's going to have a Hitler, she started dancing around. She was happy about the fact that this person, Ishmael, is going to make the Jewish people to cry so much to El. That is the name of Ishmael. That at the end of the days, the descendants of this beast, they're going to make us suffer so much until we cry out to Hashem. But again, like we said before, this is not Ishmael, this is not Hamas, this is not Hitler, and this is not anybody else. This is the way of Hashem giving us over a head in order for us to wake up like a caring father. Like it says in the Torah, that like a father that loves his child and gives him a punishment in order for him to get his act together and to come back to him. That's what Hashem is doing to us. Now, why is it happening this way? It could have been happening in a different way. A father also gives candies. A father also, comes and caresses the kid. Why is he hitting the kid over the head? What's going on? Why is he doing this to us right now? That we had to get a stick over our head. If you remember before the Ben Azmanim, we talked about how in Elul, our HaKadosh Baruch Hu Hashem, our relationship to him is like a nephew to an uncle. If an uncle comes to the house, he doesn't ask questions. Why did you behave this way? Why did you do this? He throws the candies in the hope that by you getting the candies, you do teshuvah. And then we moved on from an uncle to Avinu. A father is a little more strict because he lives with you. He knows what your talents are. In order to bring us those talents out, he sometimes has to punish. And then we also have Malkeinu, a melech, a stern melech. Although he's a king, but he still is our king and our father. He still wants us to get us in the right direction. But now he has to give us a little more on the head in order for us to wake up. Because we didn't do it in Elul, when he was treating us with candies. We didn't do it as much between Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And when he was trying to be a father to us. And now the judgment has come. What do we do from now? A lot of people, of course, the Yetzer Hara is coming and say, throw in the towel. This is it. See what happened over there. The biggest tragedy since the Holocaust. In a day, more than 1,500 people that were killed. That's true. But again, we have to understand that Hashem is doing all this for us in order to wake us up and give us the final redemption, and He wants to do it with mercy. The example is given to somebody who went through up in a high building, and he got locked. He didn't know how to get down. So he looked down and started screaming. Nobody could hear him. So he was a rich man, started throwing out $100 bills. And people are seeing money raining down. They pick it up and they leave. They're not looking up to see who's throwing it. Finally, the person upstairs, he says, no one's looking. He picked up the rock and threw it down. And people saw those rocks being thrown down, dangerous. They look up. They finally looked up. And they saw what the situation is. So far, Hashem was throwing us candies. He was throwing us riches, comfort, whatever you want to call it. And we just took it and threw it back at him in a way. He brought us Corona. He brought us the Holocaust. He brought us all these things. But we're not waking up. We're not waking up, so therefore, we're going to the final phase of this stick called Hamas being thrown over our head. But again, it's not too late. Hashem still loves us and He wants us to wake up. So what do we do from here? A lot of people bring the pasuk in Tehillim. If Hashem does not watch a city, it's for nothing. The guards, like we saw in the south, the fence, the army, what have you. If Hashem takes away His protection from us, there's nothing that could be done. The strongest army in the Middle East, the most professional, sophisticated, cyber, technology, whatever you want to call it. Hashem says don't rely on that. Of course, you have to do your ishtadlut. We have to do our part. We have to put fences, what have you. But just to rely on that, Hashem gave us a big wake-up call and made us into a laugh in the middle of the whole world. The biggest army, the biggest technology. What is it all worth if Hashem is not going to watch over us? On the other hand, we have another Mizmor in Tehillim. Lo Ishan Shomer Yisrael. That Hashem will never sleep. He's always watching over us. But that comes with a condition. The condition is if you're doing our part. So let's look at what happened over here. When did it happen? The day that it happened, it was Shabbat, the last day of Sukkot, where we reached the climax of our Simcha, dancing around the Torah. As it says that Hashem and the Torah and Israel were all connected. If you're dancing around the Torah, it's like you're dancing around the clothing of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So if in this day Hashem brought this such an evil, such an act upon us in order to get us back on the track, we have to look at Shabbat. What are we doing with our Shabbat? Are we keeping Shabbat the way we are? As we know, Shabbat is one of the only three things between the covenant between Hashem and us. If you're not keeping Shabbat, Shulchan Aruch screams out the person is like a Gentile in any way, every way. He cannot be part of the minyan. He cannot testify. He cannot be buried in a Jewish cemetery. Whatever it is, a lot of these things are not said. A lot of things are not said because of what's going to be. What do you mean what's going to be? If you're not keeping Shabbat and if you're off, when are you going to be turned on? If you don't say it now, when is it going to be? How many rocks we have to be thrown down on us from the top of the building? That's number one, Shabbat. Number two, Simchat Torah. The biggest day, the Simcha, that Kiviyachol, we are marrying HaKadosh Baruch Hu with his Torah, with the Ketubah of Torah, and dancing, and we're happy. Hashem saying, I don't feel that you're giving all your heart to me. You're dancing, but is your heart with me? Are you thinking about looking at your iPhone when you come out of Shabbat? Are you thinking about this? Are you thinking about that? Are you dancing with me? For me? Or for yourself? Is the Simcha for real? Or is it a fantasy? Like the Pasuk says in the Torah that we had a few weeks ago. Ki lo abarta et Hashem b'simcha v'tuv lelav mirov kol, because you had so rich, so many things, so much gashmir around you. The simcha is not about me anymore. It's about you. It's another car, it's another house, it's another $1 million wedding, another 50,000 bar mitzvah. Who are you showing off to?
I don't know, but I'm wondering.
Are you doing this for me? That's number two. Number three, sniut. Of course, the woman cannot be left out of this. We have to be saying what we have to be saying because we're all brothers and sisters on the same boat. If we're sitting in a boat and someone's drilling under his, we're sitting and he says, don't tell me what to do. What do you mean what to do? You're taking down the boat. You're taking on all of us. If I don't tell you what to do right now, what's going to be? Sniut, but before we get to sniut, a woman, we have to also understand that Yom Kippur, we read the Haftarah of Yonah. When they asked Yonah,